good, YouTube? What's good? It's Stormy B-Man, and I am back welcoming you to the post-fight show with Stormy B-Man and Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens as we cover today's fights. We had a couple of cards going on. They did overlap a little bit. We had the, I guess it was the Dazn broadcast that had a main feature of Teofimo Lopez against George Kambosos, and that turned out to be entertaining as well. And then we just finished up with the Brandon Figueroa Steph Fulton unification match with the WBC and WBO super bantamweight titles on the line. Man, what a day of boxing. I just wish that they could have started one card maybe about an hour, maybe an hour and a half earlier, just to give people a chance to refresh themselves, go to the restroom or whatever, and then get right back to boxing. Because though the shows overlapped a little bit, it wasn't by that much, and we could have really enjoyed it that much better. But as I bring my co-host in, I want to say welcome everyone out there. How's it going, Reggie? Great call, man.
Man, it's going good, man. The Belts and the kangaroo hopped on that boy, T.O., and his daddy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we gonna talk about it, man. But didn't I say a few weeks ago, Reggie, I said that this fourth quarter of the year, boxing is going out of 2021 with a bang, man. And, you know, it's the smaller weight classes that's getting it done. And you see what can happen by example of both cards' main events. If you put these young men in the ring together when they're young and they're fresh, this is the type of action you get. And there's a payoff in that, because everyone's trying to protect undefeated records and everything, but you take losses in life, you know what I mean? And how do you know what you have if you've never had an exam to see where you are in the sport? And we saw on two occasions tonight in the main events that displayed wonderfully. We're talking about guys in their early to mid 20s facing off against each other. And that's the way it should be. Not that guys over 30 aren't entertaining, but guys over 30 should be the seasoned men who have already bounced back, showed their resolve, come back, and they're well established, you know. So, you know, as I open up, you know, saying those things, I'd like to know your thoughts on what I've added to that, and we can go on into talking about the cards.
Man, boxing cannot be faded when guys are out here fighting. And not just that guys are fighting, when guys are laying it all on the line to achieve victory. And what we're seeing at the end of this dang year is fighters going out here trying to achieve victory on both ends. I mean, how can you complain about this? And this thing ain't about celebrity of fighters. This thing ain't about who's the A side, who's the B side, because you can play that crap and a guy come out here to eat your goddamn lunch. It's about getting in here, making memorable nights. All boxing is about is experience. The experience of what fighters get from matching up with one another, the experiences that fans get to receive from witnessing and viewing this, whether you're there live or watching it from TV and jumping out of your seat. That's what it's about. That's how these fighters capture memories, they capture history, and they capture to where nobody forgets who they are. Fight. God damn it. Get in the ring and fight. And with Teofimo losing this fight, the thing is, get back in the gym. I'm glad you got humbled, but get out here and fight. Ain't no more prancing around about what you ain't going to do now. You'd have been taught your lessons by the boxing gods. But I'm loving what I'm seeing. Man.
Yeah, I agree, man. And when you see it at this level, because we're seeing champions, you know, not just young dudes, but champions, or so-called, as I've addressed them in the past, as titleists. You know, titleists I use that term when they hold a sanctioning body's title. But when you haven't defended it against a worthy opponent, a worthy challenger, or pit yours against another titleist to see who's the best of the titleists, once that begins to take place, then you can consider someone a champion. You know what I mean? Because you have championed the challenges that were presented before you. When you didn't have those type of tests that end up being challenges, then you're just holding a title. In the past, when we didn't have all these sanctioning bodies and belts to pass around like they do now, when someone won the championship, he was the champion. But because you have multiple titles and people don't want to fight worthy contenders and everything, they want to fight guys on paper that they know they can beat and all of that. What happens is, yeah, you can maintain a record with minimum losses, if none, but you haven't been really tested against those who can state the same, you know, and that makes all the difference in the world in the sport of boxing, because we like to see the best. You know what I mean? We love knockouts. The sport produces that and everything. That's great. But what we saw tonight, we saw guys, except for in the fight between Fulton and Figueroa, those two men, they fought. I saw somebody wrote in your chat, Reggie, it was like Barrera and Morales. In a way, yes, it very much was. But in the Kambosos and Lopez fight, both guys hit the deck and had to get up and show their cojones. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you want. It's like, man, you know, T.O. has been reportedly dropped in the gym, you know, times and stuff like that, but it never happened in live action. And tonight it happened. So all of that bravado and stuff like that, now you got to back that stuff up. Get your butt off the canvas and fight back. And he did. You know what I mean? Kambosos got dropped and then he had to get up, you know. But before I jump the gun too much on that action, let's just start off with the last fight, Reggie. And then we can go back to T.O. and Kambosos. You gave a great call. I heard you said that, you know, your decision was that you had Fulton winning more rounds. I put a poll up in the chat to see what they say, and right now it's like 74% for Fulton, 24% a draw, and 3% says Figueroa. Those 3% that say Figueroa, that number should be way higher than that. I'm sorry. This was a very difficult fight to score. Both men were competing at a high level. They were testing one another. They were asking questions of one another. The whole thing comes down to, when you actually score boxing, clean and effective aggressiveness, you know, ring generalship, you know, clean and effective scoring of punches. Both guys got that. And the fight could have easily been a draw because of the give and take and the back and forth that carried us through to the championship rounds. And I felt like the last two rounds, I felt like Figueroa won those rounds. But that doesn't mean that should win him the fight. It just means that there was so much competitiveness in this fight. And my hat is still off to our brother Kurt Sugar, because he said he felt like that if Fulton fought Figueroa's fight, he wasn't going to win. And I kind of carried that sentiment as well. But Figueroa has an argument, because he did keep Steph on the ropes and everything. When Steph could have turned off those ropes, got in the center of the ring, used his hand speed, move a little more, you know, that would have been better on him than just allowing this guy to have his way physically, which gives a different impression. Yes, he was scoring clean and effective punching, but Figueroa was doing some things too, and he was asserting himself. And Steph could have did things when he had distance and he was letting his combinations go. You could see he was the superior boxer. But when they're in close, it's just about who's landing what shots and how is someone affected. And, you know, as he said, when he came over there and interrupted the post-fight interview, he felt like he hurt the guy a few times. And if I'm not wrong, Reggie said it in his broadcast that he saw Steve get hurt a few times and his legs getting weak at points and stuff like that. So go ahead, Reggie. Let's hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I had Fulton up by several rounds on my card, but the style that he fought in was very, very risky, and it could have cost him the fight. I thought he wasn't going to make it through the full fight. I had several moments where I was like, here it comes. Figueroa's about to end up dropping him. Figueroa's going to end up dropping him in this round. I thought he'd do it because he was hurting him a lot, and it was starting off with those body shots, and then you'll see Fulton back up, but then you also see Fulton try to fight his way through it. Now, throughout the fight, I thought Brandon was not Brandon. I keep calling Fulton Brandon. I thought Stephen was landing a lot of clean shots. I thought he was effective at ripping down to the body, landing hooks up to the jaw, but they had no real impact or effect on Figueroa at all. For Figueroa to be as pale complected as he is, he had no redness, he had no swelling on his face. The guy can take a punch, and I don't think Fulton was loading up on a lot of these big shots, and they did nothing to back this guy away from him. And I doubt if he wants to rematch this dude. I doubt if either one of these guys want to rematch one another. It was just a hard fought fight, and I think Fulton really risked a lot going out there fighting this way because it could have went haywire on it. It could have backfired on him trying to fight in this guy's fight. He was fading out a lot because of the pressure, because of being leaned on. But ultimately, the judges saw it his way, and they end up voting this thing in his favor, which I think was the majority decision. So that thing could have split either way. What is it? How did I score that? But it could have split either way. But this dude ran a real risk. His team should have had him fighting the way he tried to come out in the, I think, 10th or 11th round, where he started moving around or whatnot. But he got away with a lucky one in here because it could have went back. Could have went real bad. I think Brandon didn't lay off enough of his punches to really set things up, especially when he had Fulton hurt. I think he was doing a lot of smothering his work on, pressing Brandon against the ropes and not just letting those punches go. But ultimately, it was a good fight, but I guarantee neither one of these guys want to go right back into that fight immediately. That was a very hard fight.
Well, this is the thing. See, you just revealed something that should be taken into account for the final tally of how the fight went. You actually said that a lot of Fulton's punches, they weren't slowing Brandon down. And he was trying to go to the body, but the way the guy crabs up like that, you can't get really good body shots in. And he never got out of Fulton's face. Man, he was in there. Fulton gonna be seeing that dude in his sleep tonight, bro. And, you know, it's amazing because we don't like to give people credit. And in boxing, people like who they like. Like there were Figueroa fans, there were Steph fans, and there were boxing fans. The boxing fans know that that's a hell of a battle, and whoever they may have favored when the scorecards were going to get read, they were probably on pins and needles. I could have easily seen it go either way or a draw. And this is one of the few fights that I've seen in recent memory where I wouldn't be mad with a draw, because didn't it seem that at certain points the ebb and flow of the battle was like one guy is winning in the round. I'm not talking about the entire round, who won the round. I'm talking about how the action was back and forth. Who was really, you know, getting the better of the other guy within the round. That was something that was really hard to judge. And if you're a judge on one side of the ring and they're on that other corner over there where Brandon is pinning Steph, you can't see what Steph is doing. And then vice versa, when they come to your side of the ring and the judges that are on that other side can't really see. You know, so the judge who had it 114-114, that was probably the cleanest scorecard because of how the battle was going throughout the fight, the drama of the fight. But Steph won, and as you said, I don't think either guy really wants a rematch. But Figueroa is a tough guy, man, and he's good at what he does. You know, sometimes we equate tough with being good, but that's not always the case. But he happens to be a guy who's tough and good. And then the guy that his nickname, the Heartbreaker, he don't really look that blemished when the fight was over. Steph tried to make a remark about it, like, look at your face. But it was like, oh, his face looked still pretty clean. It's like, you know, he had taken a punch or two, but it's like, dude, look at your ribs. Huh? I know you're going to feel that tomorrow morning. You might be peeing blood tonight. It was entertaining. I'm not angry. I love what we had a chance to see, and I would love to see more of it. Reggie, elaborate, please.
Yeah, they're rematching. I'm gonna say I want to see the rematch, but I want to see them take a break because that was brutal. They deserve a timeout pass for this one because once, like I say, when they wake up in the morning, there's going to be a different feel to this one. They're going to second guess where they want to continue boxing after they feel the pain when that adrenaline or whatever wears off. But also looking at Brandon Figueroa had doubts too because he come over interrupt the press con because he came over like a poor sport and he was feeling the pain of losing that title. And he was a poor sport. He wanted to fight, but when Jim Gray was like, "Well, let's make this rematch," he thought about that. Like, man, I don't know. I'm gonna move up and wait. And so do you want the rematch or not? He was froze on that one because he went through some hell, and even Cool Boy Steph went some hell. Cool Boy Steph was dreading, like, damn, why Jim Gray don't ask this fool you want to rematch.
Yeah, shut up, Jim. You know.
This is my interview. Get this fool out of here. And Jim goes, well, let's talk about this rematch. Like, hell no. Ain't nobody fighting no rematch after no war like that. Like, heck no. That was a lot for Steph to come out of there with. And also the other thing you point out is about Steph fighting from off the ropes because there's a lot of clean work he did there. But with your back being towards another judge, there's a lot that judge may not see.
Right.
And then the judge in the moments where you're leaning over and getting hurt in moments that maybe they think this dude is doing more work than what they can see. And they can just judge off of what they think they're seeing.
Right.
And that's why Cool Boy needed to get off those ropes, even though I guess it worked for him that the judges were able to see what he was landing, but that was just way too risky. And to go in there and fight that guy's style because it almost backfired on him because he was becoming winded quite a bit towards the later part of rounds and stuff. But like some people were saying, man, they'll hate to be a judge to score that fight. And if that was a fight where a judge could have flipped it the other way or made a draw, nobody would complain about it. It was a hellified war. And that's the way you fight for titles right there. That's when you know the titles are of value when you get two fighters that fight like this for them.
And how about both guys, Reggie, having the condition to go 12 fighting like that? That fight was still in round 12, just like it was in round 1 or 2. You know what I mean? The type of output, the action. At one point, they were saying that Figueroa, I think, they said he was throwing like 100 punches a round, you know, at one point during the fight. I'm like, man, these guys are just letting their hands go. They not messing around, you know. And I do believe it could have been a cleaner, more polished performance for Cool Steph because he elected to fight that guy. Brandon didn't actually force him because you saw that there were times when he got his clearance and whatever, and he went right on back into that thing. That's why you got to respect and have an appreciation for fighters like Sweet Pea Whitaker. He fought one of the most pressuring fighters during his era in Julio Cesar Chavez. And he moved circles around Chavez, did not run, because Hector Camacho ran for Chavez for 12 rounds and still took a beating. But Sweet Pea used the angles, and he moved, he stepped around, he gave an angle, he made you think he was going left when he went right, and made you go think he was going right when he was going left. Total ring generalship, which is why that they scored that fight a draw when it was absolutely not a draw. Sweet Pea just outclassed the guy. Chavez had no answers. And Steph is talented enough to have done that to Figueroa, but I think in his youth, he's feel like he's fought other guys fight and beat them up until now, something that Earl Spence Jr. is also guilty of. He wants to beat the guys at their style and stuff. But you'll learn that whatever your style is, definitively, you try to make them bend to your will. Don't do theirs, because even if you can do it, if you know you can measure up, so to speak, or whatever, master yourself. Don't worry about the other guy. Incorporate what you do well. You know, it's like when the Patriots were playing championship football. They would run the scores up on people and everything, and people were like, man, you know, okay, you guys are already up by 20. It's like, you know, and Belichick's philosophy was, hey, it's your job to stop us. So do what you do well and let them worry about catching up to you, you know. But these men were highly conditioned. I don't know a lot of the other fighters that are either in their division, just above or below, that had gas tanks like that. And for a fighter like Brandon Figueroa, who was thinking about moving up anyway, because, you know, that's a tough weight, that bantam weight. When you start getting up to featherweight and super featherweight and stuff like that, you're getting away from that stuff where you starve yourself, and cutting that weight is really tough on you. But I think also when Jim Gray was asking him that, because he was already committed to thinking about, you know, going on up after this fight, win, lose, or draw, because you see how the kid looks. He looks like he could put a lot more weight on that frame, Reggie. And, you know, he probably wants to eat better. You know what I'm saying? It's not like being lazy or nothing, because you saw how he fight. That damn output he had was ridiculous. And Cool Boy had to keep up with that. And with his hand speed and everything, you know, he was able to do so. I also think one thing, that kid Figueroa can take a shot, man. So if Steph didn't have a punch to knock him out, that's how that fight is going to go. But we'll see when he gets in there with a guy who can really hurt him with a shot, you know. And that's no slam against Fulton. It's just that you have guys like that, and then it changes when they start moving up. Like this kid Navarrete, when he starts, I don't think he's at his maximum weight yet. But those guys seemingly where he is now, they can't hurt him, you know. Dog Bay couldn't hurt him. That other kid couldn't hurt him. But it's like when they start moving up and then filling out, that's when you find out what they really have. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I have no other further thoughts on that. I agree with everything you said about that.
Yeah,
I want to see what Navarrete does when he moves up, though.
Yeah, and when people can take what because it doesn't seem like some of these guys are just. I've heard this term used. I never really used it myself, but it's kind of out there. It's like they're bullying at weight because they cut down to weights that are. What I've referred to them as artificial weights, you know, because it's like that's not their true weight, you know. It's like Bud Crawford. Bomac already admitted it's like they could have turned him pro at welterweight, but they purposely turned him pro at lightweight, you know, and they wanted him to get a certain amount of fights, a certain amount of championship rounds in and things of that nature, and they were able to accomplish that. I looked at him when he came into the ring against Porter physically, because you know when guys cut weight to make the weight, they look different on the scales than they look on fight night, because they get a chance to rehydrate and replenish themselves and stuff like that. And I think that's the biggest I ever saw Bud look as a welterweight in all his welterweight fights, and he's had 4 of them now, 5 of them. But it's like if you looked at him in there against Sean Porter, he didn't look small. He looked filled out, man. He looked like a legitimate welterweight. So when guys start, you know, filling out, that's when you really see who and where they are, you know. But Yeah, what's next? What do you want to move on to now? You want to move on to the other bout on the Dazn card, or did you want to speak on something that happened on the undercard of this? Let me know where you want to go with it.
To Teofimo.
Yeah, I just gotta ask you, because I don't want to see like you jumping the gun, and I know everybody want to chime in on that fight, man. But listen, bro, that was a hell of a fight, wasn't it? And salute to George Kambosos, man. The brother came out and he put on a show, didn't he, Reggie?
Hell yeah, he did. He put on a show even without fighting. Anytime he stepped and saw Teofimo, it was a show. And he felt how he felt in that ring against Teo. He ain't show no respect to Teo, and he was looking through Teo's heart and spirit. And when he dropped Teo, he knew what he had with him.
Listen, man. It was pretty good to see Teo come out there like a bully. He wanted to try to jump on and think dude was going to be afraid of him. Kambosos was right there sticking that jab in his face, busting his face up. And for those of you who just wondered, like, all them bruises and batters on Teofimo's face, did that come from headbutts or nothing? No, that came from Kambosos' fist hitting that dude. He was boxing his butt off, Reggie. Kambosos was in the mix. When he dropped Teo in that first round, it was like one of those shots where he let him get off all that stuff, and then he said, "Fat!" right on his jaw, and dude went down. And that actually put something in his mind, because he didn't fight like that the rest of the fight, but he still took some gambles and risks. I just wish that Kambosos would have let the right hand go a few more times. Not, overdo it, but it was there for him. And his punches were clean, Reggie, and short. When you see him do what he was doing, he would let Teo's punches hit off his shoulder and fire that right hand, or he was throwing this very short left hook that you couldn't see unless they ran it back on the replay or something. But his shots were short and pinpoint accurate, and Teo gonna look like a monster tomorrow when he wake up. All of that stuff that's red and everything now, the eye gonna be shut. It's cuts, and man, that dude, listen, he took a beating tonight, and the referee never threw a punch. You know what I mean? That was a good fight. So go ahead with what you got to say, Reg.
Man, a cross down under the mud, belts done kangaroo hopped up out of his dang pocket. And I can't wait to see how Teofimo deals with this position he is. He has been high up on that dang high horse over one fight. Like he accomplished something. This is what you get. This is the way it plays out. You done defeated one person who you ran from, wouldn't give him the rematch, showboated and clowned it out on him. You danced around on Bob because you didn't do an honorable thing like we was talking about yesterday with Bud, where people used to clown Bud about being over there with Top Rank. He signed a contract, he stayed there and did the honorable thing to fulfill it. And then he clowned. This dude signs a contract and he all over the dang place with him and his dad. You in the contractual agreement with somebody. Fulfill this mess. They up here hunting for the highest bidder. Then you sneaking around trying to talk about $10 million fights to fight Devin Haney. It showed me there these dudes wasn't in the game for the long haul. The seriousness of this game wasn't it. And I knew this dude was nothing more than a skinny version of Andy Ruiz. Is all he was. He won one goddamn victory, and it went straight to his head, and Pop went the goddamn weasel. He got in this fight, and he didn't look like nothing because he's a spring-loaded fighter, and all Kambosos had to do was move around on him, wait for him to get in that spot, throw a right hand, pop him on the head. And I knew this boy didn't like getting punched from watching what was happening when he fought Lomachenko. When Lomachenko started to set in and move forward on him, and Lomachenko started and just, what was that, 7, 8, 9, 10, what was it, whatever, how many rounds when Lomachenko decided to start back fighting, in that short little set of action, he began to put marks on Teofimo. Teofimo began to show that he didn't like getting punched. He started cowering up, putting his hands in his pocket. And I was like, I hope this dude Kambosos can do it. Didn't know if Kambosos is going to be able to fulfill it. But Kambosos worked this dude. Kambosos moved around on him, didn't allow him to set up or open up distance, reset this guy, keep him moving, catching him with jabs. He was cracking Teofimo. He was stunning Teofimo a lot, especially when Teofimo got desperate and started to want to try to exchange with him at moments. And it was like Teofimo legs would lock up on him. And Kambosos to get back out of there. So he had to reset himself as big shots and dangerous shots are being thrown. But he was buzzing Teofimo quite a bit, and Teofimo do nothing but smile. That's the embarrassment on him. He brought all the New York folks up out of there from the barrios and all this other stuff, and he embarrassed them. He looked like a dang fool. He didn't have no showing of anything. He did all this dancing and maneuvering, and he got what he deserved. A down under kangaroo bunny hop on his damn head. He was cut all up. And then the other thing where I knew where Kambosos had him is when that cut opened up. And Kambosos fought like a dang G, because I forgot the cut was even on him. When that cut opened up, and the first thing Teofimo did, everything Teofimo did in this fight was telegraphed. He went right to trying to jab at that dang cut. And all Kambosos to do was just move over, throw a little check left at him. And then Teo was like a dang brain dead buffoon. He kept throwing the jab, trying to target that eye and getting hit with the counter check. And it was just like, he was simple mathematics in here. And if this was like mathematics, it's probably like trying to teach the kindergarten 1 + 1. And kindergarten saying it's 5, and that's how Teofimo fought this fight. He looked like an amateur in here, and I'm glad he did. So it's like, now where does Teofimo go from here? How does his father build it up? Because I don't think his father is good at dealing with trying to prop up a wounded fighter who's going to be suffering mentally. Because Teofimo about to be down and out. They better separate him from that woman, because he may get to swinging on her at night. He's going to be crying. He's going to be pissed off. He's going to be in a very, very, very bad state mentally. And he's going to have the right people around him to get him built back up. I wouldn't be surprised to see Teofimo come back the next time you see him 30 pounds overweight, because he done soaked in his defeat. But I hope he can get himself back in the gym, start learning, start humbling himself. But he's going to have to take the back seat, and this is what he gets. So he's going to have to humble himself up. Now Lomachenko don't even got to chase after him no more. Lomachenko done passed you up. But that's my close on that one.
Yeah, I mean, we can elaborate on this fight a little more, because there are some lessons that definitely took place there that I don't want people to miss out on. And for someone like Teofimo Lopez, maybe he'll be out there listening and catch this broadcast or whatever, because he and his father, you mentioned something about going back to the drawing board. They both seriously need to do that, because there was something missing from him competing in this match tonight. Do you know what it is, Reggie? Could you
No, tell me. I want to see where you're going with it.
Take a guess. Oh, yeah, okay, because it's not a big secret, but Teo didn't have a jab. He did not have a jab. He was walking into shots, bro. That's why his face looked like that. Kambosos couldn't miss. There was a point in the fight, because he was swinging so wildly, they showed the stats for how many punches were thrown and how many was landed, in a little box on the side of the screen. And at one point, it had said like Teo was up like 15 or 20 punches or something like that. And then when they showed it again, Kambosos had passed him up, because the shots that Teo was throwing, but he wasn't landing, Kambosos started landing when he gave him those opportunities to counter and hit him clean and flush. And I remember, what was it, the 6th round? I'm looking, and Teo went back. He had a thing on his eye and everything, and I was like, man, this dude is tagging his ass. You understand? And it's like, he didn't have a jab himself. He was doing that old Roy Jones stuff, jumping in and leaping in. And I remember hearing Angelo Dundee talking about fighters doing that do that leaping in with shots. He said that a quality veteran fighter, when you leap, you sleep, because a guy can counter you and catch you because you wide open coming in. And if anyone else watches that fight, you can look at it and see for yourself that he was definitely getting caught clean, but he had no jab. If he had a jab, he could come in undercover and guys. We talk about this all the time about people having technique or not having technique and, you know, having a full set of tools. T.O.'s got very fast hands and he's got pop on his punches, but he can't box. And Lomachenko is really kicking himself now because he gave the guy a shot, didn't fight for the first 6 rounds, and then found out later in the fight when he started going on the attack that the kid didn't, he shied away from contact and didn't like the pressure that Lomo was putting him on in those later rounds. But see, Kambosos, salute to him. He saw that. He was like, this kid don't even throw a jab. All I got to do is let him walk in on me and I'm going to hit him, because he walks in open. And didn't he follow Kambosos all over the ring? He would follow, boop, boop, get hit, boop, boop, get hit. And Kambosos just kept him coming into it. Pop, pop, pop. All night long. And look at his face at the end. He looked like somebody tied him to a chair and put some leather gloves on and went to work on him. Huh? That's exactly what he looked like. But the other part of what I was going to say with this, Reggie, and I'd like to hear your comment about what I'm bringing out on all of this, is that his dad is his trainer, right? Well, now he needs to shut the hell up, because you couldn't tell your son the right keys in the corner to make adjustments. That's because you're incomplete yourself. You've done so much talking and had so much bravado and all of this stuff, but you're not really the complete package as far as being a skilled fighter or a trainer. Huh? You left a lot to be desired. You left a lot in the gym that you couldn't bring with you because you got the wrong idea about boxing. Now, you can go back to the drawing board and clean things up and come back better, but this is a lesson for you, Mr. T.O. Senior, because it's like you're garbage, huh? And you couldn't get your son to make adjustments. All he was thinking about trying to knock somebody out, and he wanted to score it early, And the thing about that is, like, dude, a fight is scheduled for 12 rounds or less, huh? That don't mean you got to go 12, but you better be prepared to go 12. And if you're going to go 12, you got to have some other things in the toolbox. Now, what Kambosos did after being dropped, that was tremendous, because it looked like he might not finish. And he came back and won the other rounds. Salute to that man. How many champions in the sport of boxing have become champions after getting off the deck and truly being hurt, as Kambosos was? He was shook because T.O. can punch, but he got up and he finished the fight. And not only did he finish the fight, he won the damn championship rounds. Salute, salute, salute in my Willie D voice. That brother got off the canvas and he won the fight and he won the titles. Go ahead, Reggie.
Man, and going back to that, what was that, the 10th round, speaking on that knockdown, is the mistakes in what you're talking about with Teofimo not boxing, utilizing the jab. Once he had Kambosos hurt with the right hand, and also with Kambosos still being clear of mind of what to do at those moments, and what he knew that Teofimo lacked. He knew the deficiencies that Teofimo had in this fight, even with him being hurt, and how to stay out the way of danger. Teofimo went in here headhunting once again, rather than setting up, trying to pick off stuff for this fighter who's in survival mode right now at that moment. Teofimo loading up on these shots, missing everything, falling into the range of Kambosos to be able to grab him, buying himself some time, breathe. They break. Teofimo come right back after him. Try to throw off some more shots, missing, tiring himself out. Kambosos in survival mode, still breathe. Let the brain heal. Then he ended up catching Teofimo at one point in that round, and that stopped Teofimo from going on that hunt for him. Teofimo had to be like, whoa, let me watch it, because all throughout this fight, this guy been catching Teo. Now Teo like, let me not get myself caught with something. The other thing I was hearing with his father, when I was able to kind of hear some of the sound in the, because I was so amped up, I was even missing the corner talk, but I hear his father talking about what was like in that first round or something. He was like, man, what are you doing out there? What's going on? Calm down. Like from the first round, the problem is with his father and his father's nervous energy. His father think it's being street-like, but no, you masking a lot of nervous energy. You don't know, you're really winging it. You're really not prepared for these moments. And in the first round, he already seemed paranoid. He's not relaxed, and therefore that kind of played off into Teofimo. Now you send this energy over to Teofimo going into that second round where I think he gets dropped. It's like calm down this one round, dude. But I know Teofimo needed to calm down, but his father needed to approach that in a different kind of manner, different tone, different tact. You send that fighter back out there with your same nervous, wired up energy. He come back over there, same nervous, wired up energy. Then when Teofimo get the cuts up on him, you telling him and Teofimo looking, getting himself embarrassed, getting himself caught and rocked with shots. I think that was in the round where when the bell ring and he caught Teo and Teo almost falling over and that ref caught Teo. He was telling him like, man, you're stronger than this guy. But it's like him being stronger means what? That ain't what you need to tell him, that he's strong. So what, you want to go out there and slam the guy? No, you need to tell him to put something together. But his father, with his brain in that sort of state, can't think clearly. He can't go out there and give instructions. He's too nervous. He's too caught up in the moments. He's afraid under those brick lights. At home, the expectations, everything they done talked themselves into, backing themselves in a corner, they froze up because the mind wasn't clear for neither one of them. But the other guy had been so focused. Y'all done pushed things back for this dude. This dude was locked in, trance-like state, focused. Went in there and implemented everything in his game plan. And even in the moments when he's hurt, he knew exactly what to do because he knew how deficient Teofimo was in those moments that Teofimo did not know how to close it out. And it wasn't in a state like he was hurt like a Richard Comey. He was hurt, but his mind was clear. He knew what to do. He knew to try to get himself some room, back up. Teofimo come with this right hand, wired up bunny hopping punch. Let me get out the way of that. He'll probably bunny hop around with the left. Let me get out the way of that. He'll bunny hop, come in forward, and I'll catch him and hold on to him. It was easy mathematics in that ring for Kambosos. And even in the moment where Teo thought he'd close it out, I was nervous from that moment too. Teofimo couldn't do anything. And in the championship rounds, he was flat. He was flat, feet stuck in the mud. And it was just beautiful to watch this happen to two sets of people who have been some of the most moronic people in this current age of boxing, to where you get happy for a guy when he achieved what he achieved and beating what's that cat, Lomachenko, and then it immediately go to his head. Like, he just so reminiscent of what I've seen with the Andy Ruiz cat. Then you see him everywhere. Like, fool, you just come off a delay in the fight over COVID. I want to cuss so bad on here, but you just come off of this thing with COVID. And as soon as you get off of that delay in the fight, you back up at events. You back prancing and prodding around. Maybe you did need to take your final picture with those belts when you brought him the Canelo fight. All this stuff went to this buffoon's head, and it played him because the focus wasn't there. It went to his father's head because the focus wasn't there. And I guarantee, you know what they did? You remember the Martin episode when Martin thought he won the lottery, he go out buying all this stuff? That's exactly what Timo and them probably done did. And now they got to return a bunch of stuff. They returned into $2.
Man, why you mention Martin, Reggie? That was one of my favorite shows, man. And I remember that episode like it was yesterday. Hey, remember that big TV he bought? The Hachitachi?
Yeah.
The big TV. They were sitting in the living room. Man, listen, they was watching the TV. The screen was so big that when they were sitting in the living room, they was doing like this as they was watching action on the screen. They was going. They was looking, it's like the TV was so damn big. Man, that was one of my favorite shows. But yeah, you're right, man. It's like,
Hey, then he had to take it back and get the itch 2000.
yeah, man, that was one of my favorite shows, man. Martin was, you know what? There'll never be anything like that again, man, because that was for a certain era. But I got an appreciation and love for that show like no other, man. I really do. You never heard me talk about Martin, but man, that was my show. Man. But yeah, you know, T.O.'s dad, he needs to pay now for his ignorance. It'd be a different thing if he were like Roger Mayweather, you know, an accomplished trainer and former fighter, world champion, that had a resume of produced effects. You know, he can hang his hat. Hey, this is my body of work here. All that man did is run his mouth and be disrespectful to people. But when it comes down to fighting, this is why it's even best that what happened, that it happened by George Kambosos, because if he had fought a rematch with Lomachenko was going to stop him, because it's almost like revenge. You know, it's like whatever was wrong, Lomo didn't throw punches those first 6 rounds or whatever, but we saw when he went in there against Nakatani that he was sending a message, and he wanted this guy. He wanted him back, and T.O. and his dad knew this, so they paraded all the way around on a different side of the world so that they didn't even have to think about Lomachenko, right? But Kambosos can't do a lot of what Lomachenko can, and he still beat the crap out of the guy. You see that? He stayed textbook on Teofimo. And when somebody, this has always been my philosophy as coaching in boxing. When somebody is unorthodox, like T.O., who likes to try to emulate fighters like Roy Jones, when somebody is unorthodox, when you face them, you stay textbook orthodox. You don't try to get like them. You don't try to emulate or do what they do. You stick to the tools of the trade. They are tried and true from the history of the sport. Okay? If a guy throws winging wild shots and everything, you stick straight with that jab right down the middle in that right hand. You bring that shot to the liver over the side as a hook. You double up on the shots. You do like Custom Auto used to teach Mike Tyson. When you throw a shot down low, throw the other one up high. When you throw one up high, you throw the other one on the opposite side down low. Because a guy can't defend both at the same time. That's simple. 1 + 1 = 2. It don't equal 5. It ain't gonna get you 10. It's as simple as that. These are the kind of things that T.O.'s dad don't know, because he showed you. He didn't tell you, he showed you. Don't they say actions speak louder than words? Look at him. Son on the canvas in the first round. But he's so great, He ready to go up and let Josh Taylor get some, Josh Taylor would have killed that boy. That's why he sunned him and was like, wasn't even considering the stuff that they were talking. In fact, he'd been getting sunned ever since he defeated Lomachenko by everybody. Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, Devin Haney. It's like the boy been taking L's so much. That's why he stayed out of the ring, because he was scared to take the one in the ring. Yeah, it's that simple. When you are a student of the game, You know you shouldn't go out there and throw caution in the wind and try to be reckless and winging shots from left field and everything. Kambosos was textbook on his ass. Just, fat, come on in here and get some of this jab. Bap, get this right hand. Put him flat on his behind. Huh? It was a great performance. And that man deserves his accolades. He deserved his praise because he shut the mouth of the mouth. Huh? Shut them down. Both of them. And then to further show the classness of them, he comes over in the middle of his post-fight interview. You didn't win that fight. What? And I even like how Kambosos handled that. But the guy took a butt whooping. It's the best kind. Right in front of everybody. Everybody saw it. Yeah, you know, out of New York and everything, you got your butt whooped in New York. Take this L, son, and go sit down. And we'll give you a bigger one for your dad to carry. Huh? Yeah. You see, I'm going in on him because he was so disrespectful. Huh? They all got a lesson over there. Where the backflips at? Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. He did get flipped on his ass in the first round, right? There you go. For everybody that was like, you know, I just want to see him get whooped. Have one on me. Because that's exactly what happened tonight. And we all can celebrate that. We do want to see people get their comeuppance when they out there being disrespectful, not only to the other fighters, but to the sport. That despicable act that he showed up over there at Canelo's fight with those belts and everything. Canelo should go find this kid Kambosos over in Australia, wherever he's from, and go take some pictures with him. Yeah. And it ain't about undisputed. It's about celebrating somebody who did something very good in boxing. Boxing won tonight, Reggie. It won. Huh? In the decision of the fight with Kambosos, you know, getting the victory. Because there was a little bit of a hint that maybe it could go wrong. But thank God it went so right, man. Thank God. And I didn't say too much about it leading into the fight, you know, but I wanted that kid to get shown something. And he was tonight. And he was shown that the man that was in there with him was a real man, because he put that man down and the man got back up. He survived the round. He used his moxie and ring experience and everything and came back and won the championship rounds. Yes, sir. It was great. Your thoughts, Reggie?
Yeah, his dad was going into the 12th round like, son, I got a secret. I don't know boxing. I know Puerto Rican judo. I can't help you. Just wing it.
They won't let me give you this blade.
Puerto Rican judo felder, son. We're Venezuelan.
Man, I'm so happy for George Kambosos, man. And how long did they make him wait, Reggie? That fight was rescheduled. I think they said it was rescheduled.
5 times.
Huh?
I think like 5 times.
Yeah, 5 times, and they had 8 different venues. 8 different venues and rescheduled 5 times. Salute to George Kambosos, man. That's how you do this, man. That's you get a suckers who deserve a L, you hang it on them heavy. And see, it was great. Think about it like this and let me know what your thoughts are. He dropped the guy in the first round. That made him back up like, oh, snap. He done embarrassed me in front of my hometown and everything already. But then he dropped Kambosos late And Kambosos got up and showed fighting spirit and continued and ended up besting. That's great stuff. That's theater, you know? And in boxing, when a guy can say that he got off the canvas to become the champion, there's respect with that. Very much so. And I wanted to say this as a part of what I just said. If Kambosos would have not dropped him in the first round, but dropped him late, he would have got stopped. Because he's not mentally strong like that. See, getting hit early in the fight, that just kind of shook him like, oh, I should be a little more careful. But he wasn't that much more careful. He was a little bit more. But if he had got dropped late, everything, that pressure would have really come down on him. That's why I was saying I wish that Kambosos had just thrown a few more right hands in the fight. Not in any particular round, but just to let him know that I'm sticking around and I'm going to stick this in your craw, you know. But I don't have any criticism of Kambosos' performance at all, because he won. And he won like a champ. He spoke like a champ in the post-fight comment. And he even went over there and tried to show that fool some kind of respect in the aftermath. And they rejected him on that. So, but we got it on tape, huh? We seen it. It's out there now. So the takeover was overtaken. What you got, Reg?
Man, I gotta say farewell to these fools, man. But Tio, I don't know what Tio gonna do. But man, also something brought up in the comments from Mirror, speaking about judges' scorecards. He was stating that in that first round, those refs didn't give Kambosos his credit. He said two of the judges scored that round a 10-9 round rather than a 10-8 round. So that was some other controversial crap, and it's amazing that he was still able to pull off this victory. So that's like them seeing that Teofimo did such a poor job that they couldn't even cheat the fight away from him. And I mean, these kids got really some work, meaning him and his father. His father needs to grow up and start acting like an adult, stop behaving like a buffoon, because I don't know if his father went to prison. His father reminded me of a person who's been locked away. You know, you can get some people who've been locked away and they 18 or so, spend 20 years in jail and come out still stuck in the same age. And that's kind of how his father kind of behaves. But his father has to grow up. They have achieved what they have, but you're moving up into an upper echelon to a higher level. And you're going to have to show better ability than trying to rely on knockout punching. And once again, it shows that you get these fighters who, you know, change over their identity. You've been putting them in here in fights to where they just been knocking people out, scoring these devastating punches. And then here you get in here with a guy to where your best punch really doesn't have an effect, because there's other big punches from that right hand that Teofimo hit this guy with, and they had no effect on that guy. No effect. And the only reason why Tia was able to land and drop Kambosos, because Kambosos started to kind of tire out in that round. That was kind of his gas tank dump in this round before his second win came about. And it just shows your power wasn't of any effect against this guy. You didn't hurt this dude. He hurt you multiple times. So it's just like his power, that power thing for them was all a mirage, and they relied too much on it, and it cost them. And it's going to continue to cost him if that's all he thinks he's going to rely on. He get in there with Devin Haney, he's going to get mixed up. But like I say, he got a long way to go. Maybe him and Ryan Garcia can do it. I've seen a brother boxing plug talking about Oscar trying to call for Ryan Garcia to fight Kambosos. No, Oscar and them, you need payday. Oscar, Ryan need payday. That's all it is. Don't waste boxing fans' time. Get the hell up out the way. Boxing is in a good way that it's moving. Stop wasting our time. Go find payday somewhere else, Oscar. But that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah. And you're right about his dad, frozen in time. He is in the prison, and the prison is his own mind, because that's the only place where greatness exists for them. Okay, and that's why they got shown the door tonight, because someone who just fought with more spirit, had more belief in themselves, and brought more skills. At the end of the day, textbook. I keep saying it, textbook. What caused them lumps, bumps, scuffs on T.O.'s face? Wasn't elbows, It wasn't headbutts. It was punches. Absolutely. And I celebrate that. I celebrate that all damn day. Keep telling these people out here about these young guys in the sport of today, and they're not studies, of the sport. Go out there incomplete and want somebody to call them great and all of that. Devin Haney would have beat the crap out of them too. But I'm glad it was Kambosos, because some people just thought that he couldn't. And maybe T.O. thought that he couldn't, but had some reservations about himself, which is why they had so many delays on this fight. I've never seen a fight stretched out as long as that. That fight was stretched out for the entire year. This is late November, man. The 27th. Well, now the 28th, because we into the next morning. But the birthday of Bruce Lee, by the way, November 27th. Yeah, I like my kung fu. But I'm glad it took place like that. I'm glad. You're a horrible fighter. That's what it is. Man, I love it, Reggie. Good to see this stuff, man. Good to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the other thing that made me feel proud of this dude winning is the way in which he approached this fight from the first time these dudes stood in front of each other. And I think Teofimo may have feared that. Is the first time they stood in front of each other. And it was like the way that Kambosos stood in front of him. And every time Kambosos stands in front of this guy, how he prosters himself up. It's almost like, because I like watching animals and as they fight, what you see with a lot of cats is cats walk off into the side motion when they ready to strike, and they prop themselves up and lift up a little bit. Every time he would stand in front of Teofimo, he does that. And then he gives a direct look into Teofimo's eyes, like he's piercing through Teofimo's soul. And almost to the point as Teofimo says something wrong, Kambosos is ready to spit on him. If he moved wrong, he was ready to smack him. It was just like he just had Teofimo where he wanted, like he was the champion, like he checked him. And then to listen to Teofimo's clown post fight to where he talking about, I ain't a poor sport, fool, you don't listen to yourself. And then he says some other statement that I've been here and I've done that. Oh, so you accomplished then. And that's where the problem lies. You think you've been somewhere and you've done that. You just got there. You haven't done anything, homie. Like you haven't done anything. And that was the major problem in everything that occurred for these dudes, that they thought they've accomplished something. You didn't reign over it. You didn't even defend this title. You got it, and it left you. And now I want to see what Mauricio Sulaiman going to say. Is Kambosos the franchise champion now? But it don't even matter, because Kambosos is going to do the proper thing as a proper fighter. And that's the first thing he said. He's going to fight Devin Haney. He wants to unify it. Ain't no time to be joking and playing around. And this is why these sanctioned bodies got to stay out the way trying to show favor to folks. Let the real fighters fight. Give the real fighters opportunities to get these belts. And also with the fans. Just because we don't know somebody don't mean they real. It's a lot of dudes who are outside of America. And it's for these American fighters to realize it. There's a lot of real men who come from other parts of this globe outside this one called North America, or wherever part, Central America, the Middle America, wherever the heck the United States is called. There's people all over this dang globe who have fighters that can really get in here and squab and have tremendous heart. And you folks better put it together, because even Gary Russell brother, he faced a tough one tonight. Even Reece Salim faced a tough one tonight.
Absolutely.
These two, not underestimate what is around this dang planet. And it's time we respect fighters for what fighters are. The ones who come in here not to be looked upon as some underdog and get in here and try to break the face of whoever people think is the top person.
Yes, sir. And you're right about the Gary Russell fight, Reggie. His body gonna be sore tomorrow. Man, that kid was putting in some body work on him, wasn't he? He was banging the hell out of Gary's body, man. Dude. That's, you know, he had to stand tall and tough representing his family and the family name in that one, but boy, he gonna be peeing blood tomorrow. I'm telling you, that kid was putting it on him. Santiago was his name,
Yeah,
that kid was a heck of a body puncher, bro. Heck of a body puncher.
Yeah, Antoine gonna be like, Gary, I gotta use your excuse. I need to take 2 years off.
But you know something? I'll tell you something. You know what saved him, Reggie? The very thing that I said that T.O. don't do. He could box. Yeah. That's what kept him safe. If he couldn't box, if he was one of those guys like a T.O. that just can like leap in with shots or had a big puncher and looking to land that big punch, that guy would have broke him down and defeated him. But because he could box, he could always rely upon that, especially when he moved a little bit and started letting them shots go from medium to outside range. When he was on the inside, that was Santiago's fight. And, you know, Gary reminded him of that. You got to get off those ropes, man. And he said when he's trying to come in, he said, move to his left, because he can't get that left hook off like that. If you moving to the right, he can slip in and hit you with it. But if you move to his left, he's got to step over. And then you can keep your punches in his face. And that was a nice, you know, bit of cornerman's advice that he gave his brother, because that kept him in the fight. That kept him in a better place. But that what's his was trying to find his first name. Record? His first name, the kid, Santiago. Hey, where is it? I thought I had it written down here. I didn't put it down. Yeah, I didn't put it down on my sheet because that was their first fight of the card. But very good fight. Very good fight. And I respect everything that he was doing there, you know. It says we have over 200 people in the building. Can you guys smash my like button? You decide to come out and listen to what we had to say about the fights. The least you could do is smash our like button, because we talk real good boxing over here, Reggie and I, and the chat. Our chat is very supportive. So if you're not a part of the family in that way, just show some respect by hitting that like button. But great night of boxing, Reggie. It's like talking about this last quarter of the year. It seems like a lot of these have been quality matchups as well, which boosts the sport, making the fights that the people really want to see. If Santiago is back on another card in a few months, he's like, you might be talking about that kid again, because he's rugged, man. And for a short guy with, you know, short reach and everything, he can mix it up. He's got an exciting style. But Gary Russell, is that Antonio and Antoine? What's his name, Reggie?
Yeah, his name Antonio.
Antonio, yeah. He's got some skills. He got pop on his punches too. So everybody that he hit won't be able to last like this guy did tonight. But he gonna be getting some people up out of there. You know, I really like the two main events tonight too. They were different, but they were both action packed in their own right. And Brandon Figueroa, man, I'm just gonna say this about that kid. He's a monster, man. That guy. How many guys you know got that damn crab-like style that he'll just be on you like a bad suit? And if you can't hurt him, he ain't going nowhere. And I do believe if a person can hurt him, you just gonna have to get rid of him, because he don't look like he got quit in him at all, Reggie. That guy has a deep reservoir of guts in the ring. He's just a tough kid, man. And he's good too. He's good and tough. So he move up to that next weight class. He'll get a title up there. But he's like strong like an ox. And he just keep coming. And see, remember, we say this about these weight classes and titleists. He can keep coming, and there are a lot of guys who won't be able to deal with that because they're not schooled up and tooled up in the sport of boxing. That makes a difference. Look at the skills that Steph Fulton have. And he still had a hard damn time with this kid. So if you don't have half the skill set that Steph have, what that mean for the next Figueroa opponent? You gonna get mauled to death by the mummy, huh? Cause he coming in there with that damn style. I'm gonna get you, you know. It's like one of them damn Universal Pictures creatures, huh? That's what he does, and I like that. And it's a action style, you know. Gary ain't gonna say it publicly, but he was like, man, I bet he telling his people right now. He's like, man, that sucker was rough. He's like, I had to bite down, you know.
Hell yeah.
Shoot, man. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like you could, and you would kind of mention it when you were calling it, because you were like, oh, he hurt Steve. You know, he was like, you hurt Steph. He wobbled. That shot wobbled him. It buckled him. But he kept fighting. It's like, man, I can't let this sucker whoop me, you know. And basically, Brandon was just doing what Brandon do. It's like he don't know no other way. He got height and reach, but he don't use it. He just come in there, Frankenstein, Universal film monster type style, just to get you and get you up out of there. And that's great, because you know what? People are going to tune in and watch that kid, man. They're going to tune in and watch him. But you're right about Steph. He going to have to take a few months off too, Reggie, because it's like, you don't want to go back in there. You got to let your body heal, man. Being in there with that monster. Huh?
Yeah, he'll have an excuse to fight one time in a year.
Yeah, man. But, you know, these are the fights we want to see, man. Somebody earlier in the chat said that fight was like Barrera and Morales. In a way, it was. It really was. And Steph fought well off the ropes. And I know we've already talked about the fight, but I'm still like geeked about it because it was so nip and tuck. I'm not mad at the decision. I could see it going either way, but it's like, look at what those guys did. And they're young, Reggie. They ain't even 28 now years old yet. It's like they're in there. That's how Leonard and Hearns were in their first fight. You know what I mean? And they delivered that type of stuff. It's like, that's where you get that. And hopefully this is something that can ignite or kickstart going forward in the sport, where we see these kind of fights being made, where the guys say, man, what the hell? Let's get in there and do it.
Yeah, I can't, man. What fights do we got next, man? These dudes been putting on such excellent stuff.
Well, you got Tank and JoJo Diaz coming up. I mean, Tank and Isaac Cruz. And then you got JoJo and Devin Haney coming up. Wow. That beautiful lady that was on Dazn with them. She was on Dazn with those guys. Jessica McCaskill or something. She's got a fight coming up. Man, she's pretty, bro. She's pretty. Man, Fox. And them ladies be fighting, man, and looking like that, man. It's like they don't even look like they box, bro. It's like they come out, take their makeup off, put their hair in a braid, and whoop your butt, man.
Yeah, go to the club. It's always pretty girls love to fight. That's why I thank God for making women weaker than us.
Man, some of us, because, you know, some of us is just kind of, you know, got the beta male type thing going for themselves. And I don't even want to get into that discussion because, you know, There's certain individuals in boxing it applies to, you know, and we'll see it. We'll see that soon enough, soon as the fights get made. But man, I'm just, we've been having like week after week, you know. I think there was 1 week where there was a break, there was no boxing, and then it's just been every week after that.
Man, this year been lit, man. It's been real lit up, and I can't complain about the sport. I can't. Even when it comes to these other dudes who don't want to fight each other, there's always someone that fills in the gap and put on extreme fights. Extreme fights. I gotta say, I've been completely satisfied because I'm not hung up on these other guys who won't fight each other. These other people who done got in these rings and put on these displays. Thank you, guys. That's all I gotta say. A big thank you.
Yes, sir, man. And I think, next week it's another DAZN broadcast. I don't know about the other networks or whatever, but Clarissa Shields is coming back by December 3rd or 5th, whatever that Saturday is. She's fighting then. Oh, Reggie, did you see the young lady? I think she's like not a lightweight. She's like 117 pounds or something. The Ali lady, the Somalian girl. Did you see her?
No, I didn't see her. She fought tonight?
Yeah, she fought. She was like the second fight on the DAZN opening bell card. That's the one that you could watch on YouTube. And if you got DAZN, you can see it on DAZN as well. But she fought a Latina lady that was really tough. But it was they moved her down to a 4-rounder because did they move it down to 4? They moved it either from 8 to 6 or from 6 to 4 because she was talking about how she realized that she had to get busy because she didn't have a lot of rounds to fight. But I've seen her fight on the DAZN undercard a couple times. This was only her 4th fight, but Ed Hearn started her out on DAZN, you know, from her first professional fight, and she's been on a couple of other cards. I think she's managed by AJ as well, but she performed very well. She looked like a real boxer tonight. She improved much over her 3rd fight, which I saw just months ago. But yeah, women boxing is doing very well, Reggie. Doing very well, and some of these women are very high profile. And guess what? They had an interview on Alicia Baumgartner earlier in the show. They interviewed her.
Oh, see, I missed it, but I seen a photo of her. She fine as hell.
Yes, sir. I be trying not to drool, man. That's all I was saying. It's like, that young lady, man, she had her makeup on and stuff. She was popping. She got the right nickname. Bomb. The Bomb. Yeah. You know, I did a video of her fight because, you know, she was so impressive with that right hand, bro. I had to do a video for her, so she got it in there. And you guys that's out there, if y'all like what you look at, make sure you tune in for her next go round because she's a unified champ now. She got 2 belts. Knocked that woman out a couple weeks ago. Great stuff, man. Yes, sir. Salute to Calvin Johnson out there. He says, I will spam the chat with this. Hit the like button and stay true to the grind. Thank you, that bro. I appreciate that. You out there showing that support like that. I see Shakers and Dices in the house as well. What's good with you? G5 Gabe popped in. Murr. Aaron Parker. We got a couple more people that Yeah, we have a full house tonight of people, man. That's great stuff. I appreciate everybody, even those who are not subscribed to the channel. Reggie and I, we got our own flavor when we do our show over here. We talk about boxing, you know, straight up. We don't talk like fanboys over here. We talk about what's happening. But we also express what we like. And when we see something like tonight with T.O. getting his comeuppance and his mouth closed and his dad with a shoe in his butt, we love to talk about that and celebrate that, because those are the kind of things you're supposed to celebrate. Huh? And may the best man win in other fights, just like we saw Cool Boy in his fight against Heartbreaker tonight. And that was a hell of a fight right there. I'm going to go back and watch that before I go to sleep. Because I'm sitting up there trying to score the fight, Reggie, but I'm like, man, this guy's winning one round and the other guy's winning the other round. And it's like you got within a round, action is going back and forth. You know what I mean? Steph hitting him with some clean shots. Boom, bam, bam. Oh, he rocking him. And then this dude just start opening up and he's making Steph move across the ring. It's like he's trying to step back and get some space. Dude, that's a damn good fight, isn't it, Reggie?
Hell yeah.
That's what we want to see, you know? That's what we want to see.
And we call it and we give props to it.
Who is this? We got Calvin. See Calvin Johnson out there. Vernell Stevenson. What's up, Mr. Stormy? Be mad. It's nice to meet you. Who is that? Can you write to me?
I think he made a typo on trying to write your name. But he probably some new subscriber. Make sure you subscribe. What's the name? Vernell?
Yeah, he's definitely subscribed, because you can't get him a chat unless you've been subscribed for longer than 4 weeks. I mean 8 weeks, 2 months, something like that. But he says, can you write to me? What do you mean, write to you? I don't understand that. I don't even know who you are. You want me to write to you? You writing to me in the chat. What's up with that? Antoine Richardson says, excellent fight night. Long time coming. Yes, sir. He said, laugh out loud. I almost hit the dude with the stalking wrench. Yeah, man. I don't know what's up with that, but I appreciate my wrenches, you know, being on top of things. Because, you know, I don't know what's up with that. But,
Yeah, that was kind of weird what he
yeah, we don't. Stormy B Man ain't on here like that. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but you could find yourself on the outskirts really quick. And I've given my wrenches authorization to handle that business. You know what I mean? So, if you guys see something funny, you know what to do. But, yeah. Yeah, that's where we can handle that like that. What else, Reg? What else we got on this? Is that it, or I think that's it?
Yeah, I think that's all I got on it. I'm gonna take a break and I'm gonna talk ish because I got to clown this chump.
Yeah, man, I know you gonna go in, so you know you can let everybody know where to follow you and put your link in the chat, because they're gonna be waiting on to hear what else you got to say. But you know, we had a great night of boxing. The only thing that could have made it more perfect, Reggie, is if they had just put an hour or two in between those two shows.
I know.
And just let us have a breather, you know? Have a breather so we can come back and catch that next card. You know what I mean? And then go from there. because the action was top notch. And hey, Reggie, shout out to Dazn, man. They've picked it up in the second half of this year, not just the fourth quarter, but the second half of the year. They've picked it up with their matches, man.
Yeah, they finally done woke up. They finally figuring out the formula. And maybe they'll have to re-guess. What did they say they were trying to pull out? Was that Eddie Hearn pulling out of American Fights? They may have to second guess this thing if they can resurrect their platform and make these fights. But they definitely won it with this one right here. And Showtime won it as well. This was kind of like a win-win, like huge wins for boxing fans, huge win. And you know, as we was talking, I was thinking like this is probably the best fight that Dazn has put on with this one. They won majorly with this one, and Triller really missed out on the big one, not maintaining this fight. This was a huge win that fell into the laps of Eddie Hearn and Dazn with this one. This was a classic, definitely classic.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. It was a huge win for them. They messed around. Triller messed around and didn't study up and do their due diligence, and they let Dazn come on in there and handle it the right way. And Bob Arum, with his old shrunken pockets, he don't want to pay nobody, and he missed out as well. Good. So they all took L's. It's like with T.O., you know, they all that mad support for T.O. and they all took L's. That's great stuff right there. Salute to G5 Gabe.
Bob and T.O.
What'd you say, Reg?
Talking about Bob and T.O., that's going to be the next pay-per-view that's about to play out. Boy, Bob about to, you think Kambosos done hit him, man. Bob about to 21 combination Street Fighter hook up on T.O. because that shelf going to be woo.
And you know Bob going to have to take it out on somebody because Terrence Crawford left him high and dry.
Exactly. Bad timing.
He gonna have to take that out on somebody. I could have built a house in Beverly Hills with the money I lost. Well, you know what, Bob? You might not be able to afford to build that house now, but you're gonna have to go get you some new Depends, because I know you wet yourself when Terrence said what he said at that press conference with his back half turned to you. That was beautiful. I'd like to put that on replay and play that, you know, for about 5 minutes on one of my next shows. Just what Terrence said and that full screen capturing Bob's response and his expression on his face. You do that man like that all these years, trying to squeeze him, you know. And he's the most, if not the most talented fighter in the sport of boxing today, and you doing him like that, man, get out of here. Get out of here. You know what I mean? Get your butt out of here. But I was going to say salute to G5 Gabe out there, that super chat. He says, can you write me? He said, man, homie, very suspect. Yeah, you know. And dude, everybody know me that follow my channel and follow my style and everything. I ain't even got to say words, right? I ain't even got to say words. So you guys know what's up. You know what I mean? But, yeah, Reggie, so you saying you're going to have some more stuff you're going to post up tonight? You going to do it live?
Yeah, I'm going to talk. I got to talk some ish, man. I'll probably go live like 30, 35 minutes, man.
Okay, because I'll come over there in your chat. I'll be listening. Right. Listen, this is a beautiful thing, man. We don't always get what we want, right? So it's like when we get it, we have to enjoy it, bro, to the fullest. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Hey, Stormy.
Yeah.
Do you know what the odds was? Was he an underdog in this one?
Ooh, T.O.? No, Kambosos?
Kambosos,
yeah. I think that Kambosos was a underdog in this. I really do. I think he was.
Like a big time underdog?
No, it wasn't huge because who did that was what's his name? Tay Jones. He had, before the fights, he always do a live, and he did one earlier today where he talks about the betting odds and stuff. So I didn't see what he had it at because he was just about to get off the air when I got in there, and I didn't go back and watch it from the beginning. But he does that for most of the card shows. So you could catch his, where he talks about the odds and everything, what the betting odds is. But I do know that Kambosos was, okay, Thomas Dillon says he was a 13-1 underdog, Reg.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Yeah.
Oh, don't tell me that. Oh, I gotta go do a Tiafimo. Oh, I gotta go cry. God.
Yeah, man. You see, that's what's up. That's what's up. This guy, he came in there and he upset the whole cart, man. He upset the whole cart.
13-1. Are you kidding me? What the?
Yeah. See, that's one of the things I like about the family too, man. They be on it, the stats and stuff. It's like we ask, hey, what was this or that? And they just write it in the chat. It's like, oh, that's cool. Don't have to look it up. I was trying to find something in my menu here before we sign off. Because I want to show this on the screen. Okay, there it is. Yeah, I got I'm uploading my files and stuff in my new laptop, Reggie. So pretty soon, when I do one of my next lives, it'll be from my new laptop, and you'll be able to see everything in high def and everything. That's what's up. I'm looking forward to that. Doing that.
Oh yeah, no, that's what's up right there, man. I got to catch up with you. I think I got to get a new one. I almost punched a hole through this computer when I started my stream and the sound had come through. I was 5 seconds away from punching through this dang screen when it did that. But now I had to restart the computer. I was like, maybe this fight gonna be over with.
Wait a minute, hold on. We ain't got to sign off just yet. Look, Tay Jones is in the chat, Reggie. He said he had $200 on Kambosos. Salute to Tay out there, man. That's what's up.
Wow.
Woo! That's what's up, bro. That's what's up.
I gotta go down to the strip because I live out here. I don't be trying to go to the strip all the time, so I gotta go down there and register so I can do it online. That's the only downside of being out here, is that a lot of locals tend to not want to go to the strip, and I don't go down there. And I wish I would have paid attention to Tay Jones' show when he talked about the odds. Like, damn.
Yeah, he always do it. Like, if his fight's Saturday night, you catch him in the early afternoon. He's doing it, and you could catch him.
I was out.
Just subscribe to him and hit the bell notification, so when he does that for the fights, you'll have it, because he do it all the time.
I'm sub to him, but I was out. I missed it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And that was earlier this afternoon. He was giving that. And I came in late because I was doing some other stuff, and I was like, oh, Tay is live. So I checked in. But I didn't hear what his breakdown on that was. But salute to Tay being out there in the chat, man. Appreciate you stopping in, bro. He said he put 200 down on Kambosos. So I'm not a betting man, so I would like to know what did that net you?
That should turn into 2,800.
So Thomas Delamuth out there in the super chat, he says, I apologize. It was 6-1. 6-1.
Oh, 6.
Yeah,
that's still cool.
It's still cool. Yeah. So that's what's up, man. That is what's up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, any other final thoughts there, Reg, before we head on out?
Man, I just hope Kambosos, a man of his words, And he's at the Devin Haney fight, and if Devin Haney can complete his task, because even in that situation, nothing's guaranteed. So hopefully Devin Haney ain't licking his chops and looking past JoJo Diaz, because JoJo gonna be tough. That's gonna be a very, very good fight right there. If Devin Haney and them are on the task, they locking in. Hopefully they at the gym right now or something, getting a little bit of work in, whether it's a run, calisthenics, whatever they doing, to be at the top, be at the peak, going into this fight with him and JoJo, because there's so much ahead for Devin Haney and him, because Teofimo thought they can cut you. And it's the beauty of how I like the way the sport shapes out. When people try to pull these games, sometimes the game ends up playing them and they get kicked in the butt and kicked to the side. That Devin Haney may get his chance, because this dude Kambosos is a real dude, and he's talking about already fighting this dude. So he will be at that fight. He will make the fight, because it ain't about holding on to these goddamn belts. It's about getting in there, fighting, creating the moments for yourselves, because this career only lasts for so long. You never know what can happen, when the injury can happen. Get it done, get it out the damn way. And also it was cool to see that Charlo was going to finally fight Castano. Get the shit done, get this stuff up out the way. Man, my highest respects is to damn boxers, because for one, can I say I'm jealous? I don't think I could say I'm jealous, but this is always one of the things I wanted to do in my life, is to box. I think when Pops died, it changed everything. So my highest regards and respect is for people who get inside the ring to make a living. That's why I refuse to call anybody bums in this sport, make clown talk mess, but I would never call any of these dudes, whatever their level, whatever the amount of losses they have, a bum, because this is a hard way to make money. You got to have some level of courage to step in the ring and do it this way. And it's just the highest regards, but just get in there, fight, man. Just want to keep seeing these guys fight, because, man, these are real cats to me. These are real dudes in here who do it. And when cats can come up when they're just overlooked by everyone, underdogs, and they just come in here and they accomplish something. Same way with Kiko Martinez. His story is a storybook tale. Like, for him to come back, him suffering defeats, people writing him off, and he goes over there and spanks a high-level dude in Galahad. Like, I love that kind of stuff. Even though I was going for Galahad, and I was sad to see it happen, but that's what the sport is made for, man. That's the beauty of this thing, boxing. But that's all I got.
Yeah, and see, I finally did my video on Galahad losing to Kiko, because that was an important fight. And even though that's when I was really out of commission with my shoulder and everything, and I couldn't sit in front of the laptop, but I finally did it and did my not post fight, but my final thoughts on that fight. And I'm like, man, these Spaniards are on a roll right now. I say, anybody that want to pick a fight, don't go picking no fight with no Spaniard, man. They're gonna kick you in the butt. But yeah, Tay said that he did that. He put that bet a year ago, and with Kambosos and T.O. And he said that it was 13-1 at the time. He said it closed at 6-1, but he got it for 13-1. So
oh yeah, he made off like a fat rat on that one.
A big fat rat. Yeah. So and salute to Yemi Babatunde out there in the chat. He says, I'm absolutely shocked by Kambosos' discipline and sheer determination. He won the fight, the fighter of the year for me. He says, congratulations to the Aussie. A job well done. Yes, sir, man. That's what we were saying. We were giving him his roses because, that whole Lopez camp, man, has been annoying as you know what for everybody who love the sport, man. This dude running around carrying belts to Canelo's press conferences and stuff. Who does that? And then he's running up on Devin Haney talking all this stuff, knowing that he ain't gonna fight him, and he shakes, Trill Bill's hand during that whole thing, saying, yeah, after this fight, I'm fighting Devin. And then he started talking about he's going to move up and take on Josh Taylor, and Josh Taylor was like, man, you got business down there. What are you talking about? You know, he just has been all over the place. You know what I mean? Even when they tried to say that he was dealing with the sea, you know, he was over in Italy when they announced that. It was like, okay, you traveling now and you got that? I mean, I'm not going to call you a liar, but isn't that what that is? It's just, we've seen so much of this dude, boy. He's been running amok. You know, like, you ever seen this, Reggie? You know, one thing you don't want to see is brothers with dogs. Some brothers, you know, because they reckless with their dogs. And he got a pit bull, and he always let him out the yard. And then the dog is terrorizing the neighborhood because he running everybody in the house and stuff. It's like, and they like, dude, get your dog. And he's like, oh, he got out again? It's like, get your dog on dog, man, and leash the thing or something. Keep him in the house. You let him out, and he running around trying to bite people. That's T.O. He was biting us with all of this foolishness, just running rampant. So, you know, George Kambosos Jr., man, you're a superhero, bro. You're a superhero. You've done us all a big solid. Huh? What'd you say, Reg?
I said absolutely, man. He need a cake, man.
Yeah. But, you know, for a serious moment, the fact that he got off the canvas, it looked like it might be over for him. Remember, he got hurt, he got dropped, and he got up, he was hurt. You know, he had to get himself back together. We've seen so many fighters do well, and then they fold up at the end, right? We've seen that. He didn't, Reggie. He didn't. He bit down, he won those championship rounds, and those people gave him his decision like they were supposed to. Hats off everybody involved in that, because they did the right thing. He did the right thing, and he got the right result. See, we have to say these things when we have a voice in what we do with platforms like this, shows like this, and, you know, sound minds, which I think we have, because you and I have banged the drums for the righteousness of boxing so much since we started doing this collaboration, and it's been very consistent, you know. And I just want to say that on the air before we leave, because it's important that you speak the truth. We're not speaking from a fan position. We're speaking from a position of those who support the sport. We cover the sport. You call the fights. We come on here and discuss them. I do content covering the personalities from the fights and their fights and stuff like that, and very consistent. And I bring a coach's mindset toward these things. So consistency is very important. So when they get it right, we have to say it. We have to support them in that. And we want to see more of it. Don't just give it to us every once in a while. Be consistent with it. That's what we demand out of this. And when you do that, we will willfully support, buy the pay-per-views, be there to give you the air, you know, with the ratings from the Nielsen's and all of that stuff. We will be there doing our part as long as you can continue to provide us with this type of situation, because it could have easily been a job, you know, because the man is from other side of the world, and he was in this man's hometown, and the judges were from New York, and New Jersey. So boxing got it right.
Absolutely. Boxing got this mess right. And I was worried about that, being from where these judges were from.
Yep. And I hope they didn't do that because T.O. has been a thorn in our butts with his foolishness that I just spoke of before. But they did it because Kambosos earned it. I'm hoping that that's the case. So with that, you know, I'm pretty much done. I'm out, Reg, and you know, I'll let turn it over to you for what you're getting ready to do. And I want to say peace to the chat, everybody that came out and smashed the like button for us. And for those who were out there peeping through the blinds and the bushes, we appreciate you as well for giving us the views and the support, because this is what we do over here on the post-fight show with Stormybman and Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens. So we're going to get on up out of here. Let everybody go for the rest of their weekend. If for those who want to follow on over to Reggie's channel, he put the link in the chat. And we're gonna say goodbye and good night for now. So, and I'll be doing the call-in show in the morning, 10:30 a.m. Central, and we'll see you then. So, peace to everybody out there. Have a great night.
Peace.